Woke up with an attitude today. Not in the mood to play. Might start a feud with Dre and tell him to shoot the fade. What's up, guys? Yeah, I'm going through it today, man. I think I am officially accepting that the 76ers are tanking this season. I think it's just really hitting me today that this team is an absolute embarrassment to human existence and an absolute disgrace to the sport of basketball, and is just a flat-out disgusting, putrid, humiliating franchise that should not exist anymore. It should be sold to a country outside of the on the other side of the planet. I think I'm coming to grips with the fact that this season that I had hopes for is actually officially over. Last night's game against the Minnesota Timberwolves was damn near impossible to watch. Now, here's the thing, man. I think I'm done watching 76ers games live for the rest of the season. I think I'm done live streaming the games this year. I think I'm just going to... The offseason for me starts now, unfortunately. I think I'm just going to get back to posting individual videos, and the watch-alongs, I'm pretty sure, are done for this season because last night was... It was brutal, man. It's no longer a question like, oh my God, why are they're tanking, bro. And once you realize that they're actually tanking for next season or for the draft or whatever, you just start to be like, why am I watching this? What's the point of watching this? It's kind of over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's definitely over. And it's brutal to watch. And so I think I'm done watching games live for the rest of the season. So I just want to say thank you guys that came through the whole year for the live streams. But yeah, I think that's done, man. The 2025 76ers, I just can't believe it, man, that we had our hopes up this high this offseason with the Paul George signing, and this is the best roster they've put around Joel Embiid his whole career. All the things we were saying this offseason, for it to be this much of a cataclysmic disaster. Is cataclysmic a word? For it to be this much of a catastrophic disaster, it's like when that rocket exploded, in the 90s. And we were all like, not me, I was a kid, but my parents were like, we're going to the moon again, right? And everybody was excited, and they interviewed all these astronauts, and it was revolutionary, and we're going to change the world, and it was live on TV, and they, there was thousands of people there, and the rocket launched, and it got about 3 miles into the sky and fucking exploded, bro. I shouldn't be laughing about that. That's this 76ers season. We were excited, and literally 3 games into the season, the rocket exploded, And people are like, "Oh, just chill, bro. It's the beginning of the season, man. The season just started." I'm like, I'm pretty sure the rocket exploded. You know what I mean? Chill, man. It just launched. They just got into the sky. Bro, I'm pretty sure I just watched everybody die. I don't know what you're watching, but I just watched a disaster. That's what I feel like, man. I am disgusted by this team. And now I am rooting for the tank. I am rooting for them to lose as many games as they can for the rest of the season because they can get a higher draft pick. I think they can actually get into 4th place if they lose out. But it's difficult to do, man. It's like every game now is like getting drunk and hooking up with an ugly chick, You thought you were having fun, dude. Like, depending on the level of drunk, like, you thought you were having a great time. And then you just wake up in the morning like, what the fuck, dude? That's how I feel watching these games. I'm like, yeah, lose. I'm rooting for the Raptors to win. I'm watching we did it. And then I wake up in the morning like, I can't believe this is happening, man. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And look, if you need any proof that the tank is in full effect, man, the 76ers last night had a dude on the floor in a number 65 jersey with a beer belly, man. I have no idea who this guy is. This is not an NBA player. This is an absolutely auto-generated 2K player on my career. You know, when you're in the G League or whatever, before you're even on the team, the real team, you know, when you're just in the opening monologue of the game, this is one of those generated players. This guy is not an NBA player, bro. This is somebody's uncle from the crowd. I think this guy was probably doing like the halftime shooting challenge, and they were just like, "Yeah, fuck it, bro. You can play the rest of the game. You want to play the rest of the game? Nobody's here. Everybody left. You know, you could just play. Here's number 65. They gave him number 65, bro. How is there a number 65 jersey in the building? There's only 15 players on the roster. How's there a number 65? So, yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't care who that is. This is just proof that the tank is officially in full effect. Listen, I want to talk about where the Sixers stand right now. The Toronto Raptors won on a buzzer beater last night that helped us out. I want to talk about Quentin Grimes. And then we have a Paul George thing that Nick Nurse said after last night's game that I am amazed at, because it's amazing that this team is still coming out after games and saying some of the dumbest shit that I've ever heard in my life. But first, this is brought to you by our friends at BetUS, and I'm just looking at championship odds over here on BetUS. Right now, you can get 150% deposit bonus on your first deposit and 125% on your next two, up to $2,000 using promo code YouTube150. And the Philadelphia 76ers, who just about 2 weeks ago, the owner and the GM said, we believe we still have a chance. You know, you might have to squint, but we believe that this team can get into the play-in tournament and can win a playoff round against the Cleveland Cavaliers or some bullshit. Betting sites say otherwise. The Philadelphia 76ers are a plus 100,000. A plus 100,000. Let me tell you something, guys. The Dallas Mavericks are a plus 50,000. They traded away Luka Doncic. Anthony Davis is out probably for the season. Daniel Gafford is hurt. Derek Lively is hurt. And Kyrie Irving just tore his ACL. And the Sixers have worse odds at a championship than the Dallas Mavericks. So if you want to bet on NBA odds of championships, go right over to BetUS. 150% deposit bonus on your first deposit, up to $2,000, 125% on your next by using promo code YouTube150. Thank you to BetUS for continuing to sponsor this channel. Let's talk about it, man. Yeah, the Sixers lost last night, which helps us in the tankathon.com standings, right? And while watching that game, which I think is the last Sixers game of the season that I'm going to watch live, I was also watching the Toronto Raptors game, and they went down to the wire with the Orlando Magic. And the Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero hit a three to put them to tie the game at, I believe, 108. Right, then the Raptors went back up. Paolo hit another three to tie the game at 111. It was 111 to 111, and Paolo Banchero got fouled after the Raptors turned the ball over. 111. Under 30 seconds left in the game. The Raptors turn it over with like 15 seconds left, and Paolo Banchero gets fouled to go to the free throw line with about 10 seconds left, right? Or maybe I'm wrong on the time, but the game should have been over right there. Paolo hits both free throws, puts Orlando up by 2, and Toronto comes down, and some dude with dreads named Walker hits a freaking prayer buzzer beater for the Toronto Raptors to win. So the 76ers, because the Nets won last night, the 76ers are still tied with the Nets at 21-40. But the Toronto Raptors are now at 20-42. They are only a game and a half worse than Brooklyn and Philadelphia. So number 5 overall is attainable right now. Number 4 isn't that crazy, with New Orleans being 17-45. So that happened last night. The Sixers lost. The Raptors won. We are in 7th place, tied with Brooklyn, but that could very well change. And let's just hit the sim lottery button for old time's sake. And the 76ers drop to number 8. And OKC gets their first round pick. And I might unalive myself if that happens in real life. But there you go with that, man. I want to talk about Quentin Grimes, man. Quentin Grimes. First of all, it's absolutely embarrassing for Paul George that Quentin Grimes is better than Paul George. Quentin Grimes is on a 4-year, $11 million contract. His contract is barely above league minimum. He has 3 30-point games for the 76ers. He's only been on the team for 11 games. He has 3 30-point games. Paul George has 3 30-point games all season. Paul George has only 10 games where he scored more than 20 points this whole season. Paul George has played 42 games for the Philadelphia 76ers. He only has 10 games where he scored more than 20 points. That's a disaster. But shout out to Quentin Grimes, man. Most points this month. Quentin Grimes, 88. More than SGA, more than Steph Curry. And, I hope he keeps it up. Keep scoring, but don't affect winning too much, man. Just keep scoring. And, but shout out to him, man. The guy's an absolute bucket. He can give teams buckets every which way possible, man. It's a joy to watch. It really is, man. He can score going left, going right. The catch and shoot threes, step back threes. He can get to a nice mid-range jumper that looks lethal. He can get all the way to the rim and finish through contact. The guy looks like a complete player, and he looks like a piece the 76ers should be interested in moving forward, because he's only 24 years old. An absolute steal of a trade for Daryl Morey and Nico Harrison and Mavs fans. I have no idea what to say about what they're doing over there. But thank you for Quentin Grimes. Thank you for trading Quentin Grimes for an injured Caleb Martin. Just really insane when you think about it. And I want to let you know that the 76ers can re-sign Quentin Grimes this upcoming offseason with no effect on the salary cap. Quentin Grimes is a restricted free agent. He signed the deal with the New York Knicks, which transfers his bird rights to the Philadelphia 76ers. So no matter what team offers him what next season, the 76ers can match it, and it will not affect the salary cap. So as far as I'm concerned, there's absolutely no reason for the 76ers to not give Quentin Grimes maybe a 4-year contract, maybe a 5-year contract. If he keeps scoring at this rate, he's going to get some big-time offers from some teams, and there's no reason for the 76ers not to match it. And I think next season, Maxey, McCain, and Grimes, I don't know if you can start all 3 of them together, but Grimes coming off the bench or McCain coming off the bench, they got a lot of scoring punch at least when you look at Maxey, McCain, and Grimes. And then, we'll see what happens with Podcast P and Joel Embiid and everybody. Now, I want to talk about Paul George before I get out of here, because first of all, why is he playing? Somebody tell me in the comments, why is Paul George playing? It scares me that Paul George is playing, because I think it's pretty damn obvious that the 76ers should be trying to trade Paul George this offseason any way possible. I thought they should have been trying to trade him at the trade deadline any way possible. Apparently, the Warriors were interested. I thought anybody that's interested in that contract, you got to jump on it. But Daryl Morey is a stubborn idiot. Daryl Morey is a stubborn idiot, and he's a delusional maniac. He has no idea what he's doing. You witnessed it with the Tobias Harris situation, bro, with the trolling fans, with the crumble cookie bullshit, and retweeting anytime Tobias Harris randomly had a 25-point game, and just the trade packages that he asked other teams for Tobias Harris were embarrassing, and he didn't trade him. And I guarantee you Daryl Morey is probably asking teams for ridiculous trade returns for Paul George when Paul George is quite literally washed. You can see it live on TV every night. He has no trade value. So really, to get rid of Paul George, you're probably going to have to get rid of Daryl Morey, and I hope that happens this offseason. But I need to know why Paul George is playing right now, because all you're doing by playing Paul George is continuing to show the rest of the league that he is cooked. He's on a 4-year max contract, and you're voluntarily showing the rest of the league that he's cooked. It doesn't make any sense. Stop playing Paul George. Anyway, after last night's game, Nick Nurse had a comment on Paul George, and I forgot to bring it up here. Let me see if I can find it for you guys real quick. Nick Nurse on Paul George. Nick Nurse, excuses for 76ers struggles. It's just a horrible team. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. Howard Eskin said that. Let me see. Nick Nurse, Paul George will probably work. Nick Nurse, Paul George. Nick Nurse, Paul George, all of my own tweets. Nick Nurse, when asked about Paul George's groin injury, we're certainly concerned. What groin injury are we talking about? Nick Nurse addresses losing Paul George to injury after Sixers loss. What? All right, let's read this, man. Let's read this before we get out of here. Nick Nurse addresses losing Paul George to injury after Sixers lost. And this was last night. You didn't lose Paul George to injury. You lost Paul George to age. Per usual, the Sixers were shorthanded. Paul George played 29-38. George did not play in the fourth quarter, and the Sixers ruled him out for the rest of the game due to groin soreness. Oh, I didn't see that. Did they accept it then? Is this what happened? Because he doesn't have a groin injury. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Stop lying to me, man. Sixers, Nick Nurse, Daryl Morey, all you fucking idiots. Stop lying to me, man. Afterwards, Nick Nurse addressed Paul George. It's definitely a concern. I mean, listen, he was questionable coming in with the groin, and he just tightened up on him there. I think it was the start of the fourth because we had him scheduled to go back in, and Kelly Oubre out for a rest because Paul got a little rest in the third. But, yeah, tightened up groin, and, yeah, we're certainly... Shut the fuck up! He's cooked, man! He's washed! Now, I hope that the 76ers are lying right now. I hope that they played Paul George last night and somebody at the top, somebody with a brain in the office, I don't know if there's a single motherfucker with a brain in that building, but hopefully somebody, the only person with a brain, some guy in the back corner of the accounting department, called somebody and said, you guys need to get Paul George off the floor. You need to trade him this offseason, and all you're doing by playing that washed bum is showing everybody that he's cooked. And the Sixers said, okay, fine. Pull him out. Tell everyone he has a groin injury. And now he's done for the year. And now our only hope to trade him this offseason is to tell everyone, listen, he had a myriad of injuries this past season. It was unfortunate, but the year before he played 74 games for the Clippers and averaged 22 points a game. He still has a lot left in the tank. There's 3 years left on his putrid contract. Please take it. We'll trade him for free. That's all I got, guys. This team is disgusting and embarrassing. And it sucks, man, because I'm obsessed with this team. I've always been obsessed with this team. And I don't need the Sixers to be great to be happy, you know? If they try hard and they're competitive every year and they never win, I don't care. It's about dignity, you know what I mean? If they go into the playoffs and they lose just because they got beat, the other team was better, it's all right. I say, okay, we'll try again next year. We'll change a couple things. We'll try again next year. It's fine. This is disgusting. And I thought after 2013, we were never going to be back here again. And we're back here again, man. This is terrible. I got to go to the gym to try to boost my endorphins. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Peace.